You're listening to the Jay Bird Watching Podcast, the official podcast of jaysjournal.com and fansite.com. We are the official ballroom chat for everything Toronto Blue Jays baseball, from game highlights to rumors and all the stuff in between. Here's your host, Craig Borden, with co-hosts Jason Lyons and Liz McGuire. Now let's talk some Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Good evening, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another edition of Jay Bird Watching. I'm your host, Craig Borden. With me tonight, Jason Lyons. Buddy, how you doing?
Hey man, I'm not in a car. I'm not mobile, not running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Not yet, at least. So yeah, good. And it is hot here. So if you get a good idea, you'd break out into a cold sweat. So yeah, it's just nice to be inside with the fans and all that stuff rolling. And yeah, good to be here.
Good, bud. So did you get to watch the All-Star game or anything?
Yeah, I actually watched both, pretty much most of both. I taped the home run derby because I find it to be more entertaining than the actual game. The home run derby was awesome. I mean, come on, like if that's what we like, I actually feel like they could take the home run derby, they could expand it into more things like a distance throw from outfield, like whatever it is, and maybe even scrap the game. Like, I know that in I think it's in Korea, it's all skills. There's no game. Like they have best bunter. Like you have to bunt into like a little tiny circle, and the circle gets smaller. And obviously they have a home run derby, and they have fastest pop time for catch. Like they have all of those things that make the game super cool and could really draw in a day's worth. Because I mean the home run derby was packed. And then there was no one watching the All-Star game. Like there was so many empty seats. It was ridiculous. In fact, it looked like it was almost like wasn't real. Like they had fake background set up or something. But I mean, the home run derby is always packed. I've looked at going to All-Star games before, and the HRD tickets are like, I don't know, maybe $100, for decent seats where you might get a ball. And the All-Star game tickets are like $400. And it just doesn't make any financial sense for people to go watch All-Stars half-ass it. I mean, it's bizarre to me that they still do it. I like that on the broadcast they brought up that the PGA and Live Golf should do their own skills competition. I think that would be incredible to watch. Like watching guys, pro golfers try and hit as close to the center of a fairway, or closest to the pin from 100 yards, 150. That would be awesome to watch. But I feel like the NHL All-Star game and the MLB All-Star game, I feel like they've run their course. The Pro Bowl has some cachet because they do it after the season. So at least, for fans of the Packers or whoever doesn't make it to the Super Bowl, you've got an opportunity to still see your guy one more time. But I just don't understand the MLB or NHL or NBA All-Star game for that matter. It's a complete money grab.
Our buddy Anthony from Major League Brews last week would obviously have a slight opposition to this whole conversation because he is an avid fan of the All-Star game. He goes, this is his 6th All-Star game he's went to. I think he likes the soaking in the Major League Baseball culture part of it more than he actually likes the other piece to it. But
now I
do think that's a good part.
I wonder how he thought Jazz Chisholm did in the home run derby. See, we can make fun of him now. He's not here.
Yeah, there is that. So it was a little bit rough for Jazz.
Not for Cal Rowley.
Politely. Yeah. Watching Jazz swing in the home run derby, somebody sent me that it was like the little kid swinging at the tee, and he couldn't hit the ball. Kind of like that.
I found it funnier. Somebody put right beside it. Have you seen... What's the movie where it's the Cubs and that weird guy he's got the big sideburns and he's hitting and he keeps
Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
The guy that played Rookie of the Year was actually just here in Rochester at the card shop I work at.
Oh, there you go. But they had them side by side when he hit that one and he's like, I think I blacked out. Like, it's just so funny. Like, way too hilarious.
Yeah.
Still Kirk a classic
movie.
Vladdy
looked good.
I mean,
started that whole inning off for the American League.
Yeah, they're showing, they're showing really well. It's nice when they get the opportunity and they go, because most guys don't know Kirk very well in the league, I don't think, but it was nice to see them highlight the players from Mexico, Mexico City in particular, that were in the All-Star game. And I thought it was, that part of it's fine, and I like all the stuff the day before. I like the celebrity softball game. I love all that stuff. That stuff's great, and that's part of soaking it in for sure. But that 9 innings of half-assed baseball is not. You're pulling guys after one batter just because there's 4 more pitchers you haven't used yet. Doesn't make any sense to me. The kid went all the way there, brought his family there, all the rest, to throw 6 pitches. Like, come on.
Yeah, that was also. I don't know if you saw the Futures game or any of that stuff.
I did.
Highlights.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Trey Savage literally faced one batter and he struck him out.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I did see. I did notice that was one of the things that was coming across the wire quite significantly, where some of the players that were in it, and just the fact again that it doesn't register, even though they're playing hard, they're trying to get, they're trying to be seen. It is a showcase game. It still doesn't resonate with people as heavily as it should, or as heavily as they probably want it to. So, I mean, I don't know. Things change, and you got to wonder where these things can get to. But I would much rather see a giant skills competition, even a 2-day skills competition. Like, I loved it when the NHL went to was in Vegas, and they were doing like the trick shots, into the fountain and all that stuff. It's awesome. It shows the guys' personalities, I just think it's better. It's better for the game doing that stuff than it is, And then when Suarez gets hit in the hand, and you're like, oh God, he's going to break his hand in the All-Star game. Like, it's just not, it seems unnecessary, because it's the same as hockey. Basketball is a little different. I guess you could twist an ankle if you're going half-ass, but I mean, if you get hit in the face with a puck, you get hit in the face with a puck. If you get hit in the face with a ball, you get hit in the face with a ball. Like, I mean, you can end your season by one thing going wrong, somebody trying to overperform or do something stupid or something. Anyway, so again, I don't think it's. I think it's gone. I think it's past its prime. If that is a.
Oh, come on. Rob Manfred's saying we're going to have an All-Star game in Toronto soon. Come on.
I don't know.
Believe that when I see it. He said it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, right after the strike.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he's going to piss everybody off to the point where, oh, you're taking a salary cap away and or putting a salary cap on it and all that. That's just the next piece.
Icing on the cake. Yep.
So on that note, let's talk some Blue Jays baseball, because wow, this season, Jason, has been a hell of a ride. And that's where I wanted to kind of do our mid-season review here, because I cannot say it much better than the way I titled this show, because it went from flop to top.
Yeah. I mean, I would hate to go back 6 months ago and listen to some of the trash that you, me, and Liz were spewing about how bad they were, even 3 months ago. And I think that's part of the roller coaster ride of fandom. I think that's what, separates us from all of the podcasts. And, thanks to everybody who does watch this as genuinely as being just a couple of sports fans talking about a team that they love, rather than, produced BS. That being said, I feel like all of the things that we sort of talked about came into place. They just didn't come from the places we were expecting them. Like, I think we all anticipated Santander being, a white knight hitting balls out of Rogers' place, just like they were candy. And, that's turned into Barger. And there's been a lot of guys really change their games and step up, and like Ernie Clement is all league right now. Like, I mean, the guy is outright. Bo Bichette is possibly better than September Bo Bichette from 2 years ago. I mean, he is so reliable at this point. Whatever he's doing right now to slow the game down, I wish he would bottle it and tell it to anybody who would listen. If you guys watch him, his fielding movement is much slower. His throwing arm is much slower. He's a strong guy. I mean, he doesn't have to try and overthrow. And it's the same with his swing. His swing is a little slower, a little more controlled. I hate to give credit where credit is due, but I feel like George Springer may have had some sort of impact on that, because if you look at the two of their swings, they are very similar. Where Barger swings like Vladdy's dad, and Vladdy for that matter, you've got Bo and Old Man River on the other side, who have changed their swing to much more acceleration from the back locked hand point through the ball, and a little bit looser wrist action through the ball. And obviously, the newer bats are allowing the ball to fly a little bit better, it looks like to me. So that little wrist flick at the end can be the difference between a fly, ask Jazz Chisholm, a fly out to right, or, a home run. So, I mean, I feel like at every position, the Jays have been better than advertised, and we still have guys in the tank. Like Varsho's going to come back from the All-Star break at 100%, and he was unbelievable before he got hurt. Like, it's crazy. Oh, you're muty.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my microphone to fix. So I'm actually going to duck out here and then come back in really quick, but I'm going to let you run with that one with the Varsho, Santander, and we have all sorts of these guys coming back. What the hell is this outfield going to look like, Jason? Because it's going to be way too populated at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing to remember is that, unfortunately for Class A and for that group, it is going to make it hard for the Miles Straws and the Class A's to exist out there. I mean, Barger has to play. Whether you put him at third or you put him in right field, the guy has got to play. He's hitting the ball way too well. Just incredible. And so, then the next, who's next? I feel like certainly Miles Straw has earned his stripes to potentially be kept in there. Him and Class A are very similar players. They have, tons of speed. They seem to be seeing the ball real well right now. So it's one of those things where it might be the flavor of the day gets to play. And if guys step up and really do well, then awesome, they'll stay for a bit. But if Santander, they were talking about Santander being hurt all the way through spring training, and that was why his lack of production was there. I mean, if he comes back as the Santander we expected, and you then look at, if you look at Varsho, Santander, and Addison Barger as your three outfielders, I mean, how do you go wrong there? You don't. And then let's say you put Barger at three, and Springer isn't DHing; he's in the field. And now I will say this: Springer's defense is not good right now. He is not getting good jumps. I feel like he's relying on the bat, which, I mean, fine. Keep hitting it the way you're hitting it, and what's the difference? I mean, he's probably loving the fact that he only has to go to the outfield every fifth game. But I feel like it's tough for Miles Straw, for Class A, for Loperfido. I mean, Loperfido was probably going down anyways, although he's been quite good as well. It seems like anybody we plug and play from Buffalo right now is fitting in well. And, this sounds like us from 2 years ago.
Buffalo boys.
When everyone was coming up, the Buffalo club was running wild. And, we thought the Jays were going to go on a long run. Now, I mean, this certainly wasn't happening at this point in the year. I think if you document us talking about this, it's been quite a while since in June and July, we were lighting off fireworks and excited. But, that being said, if they can keep up even a 500 pace, I feel like at this point, they'll be in really good stead in a wild card position or even, a zonal position. I feel like it's theirs it's their playoffs to work themselves out of right now. Anyone who was worried about those two games losing to Oakland, I mean, those are just two weird games. I don't know if you watched them or not. There's a lot of weird stuff went on, weird home runs and weirdness. And they're playing in Sacramento.
Ejections.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you don't even have a review camera. You don't even have a review camera to see if it did go around the post. Come on, how hokey are you?
Not down the line, apparently. Yeah. It's freaking insulting, isn't it?
I will say this. They did have a super cool camera that was up above the one that was up above.
Zip line,
That
right?
was a really neat, that zip line camera. I like that. Now just get one that goes down the line.
And so we can at least see if we get a fair ball or not.
Right.
Because
Right.
I wanted to focus on that because that incident actually is the reason I'm very excited for this second half, Jason. And so Davis Schneider hits a home run over the foul pole, or just in fair play, it looked like, from every player's aspect. We only see so much on TV and everything like that, but everybody was like, oh, you're reviewing that and we're going to win it hands down. There wasn't even like a question in the fact. So then it comes back reviewed as the call on the field stands, meaning they didn't have enough to overturn it, to your exact point. Didn't have the camera angle, whatever it might be, this thing, that thing, doesn't matter. John Schneider is livid at this point, goes completely apeshit bonkers. There's players, there's managers, there's other umpires holding him away to get to the guy that should have made the damn call on the third baseline, and they wouldn't even let him near it. Usually I just think it was hilarious that umpire is literally walking away from John Schneider. And if he's being ejected, he actually has to go by him anyways, because that's how it is in a minor league ballpark. You got to exit stage left field to get out there.
How good
but
was
that
it?
fire
How good was
that
it?
John Schneider had is what I was like, okay, great. You're losing a game. That's the game before the All-Star game. That was easily phoned in, and you could just wrote into the All-Star game. And he's losing his shit because he knows that it's potentially a loss with that home run not on the board.
I got two things that I really liked out of that. And one, I mean, maybe John had booked his All-Star vacation early, and his wife was like, do you know that we have to fly out of here at 4? And he was like, oh shit. Okay, I can deal with that. The one thing was, I really liked the way that he dealt with it on the field. He directed everything right at that umpire, even though other umpires were trying to get in the way. And I mean, that's the one thing, is you have to be accountable, and Major League Baseball umpires on whole are not accountable. They screw up, and they don't, like you said, they turn and walk away. It happens with us in U15. It happens at U13, where people realize they've made a mistake. Yeah. And they're not willing to discuss it. And I find that to be the most ridiculous, because once a call's made and it's done, I'm fine with that. But if you're not willing to discuss it after the fact, say, hey, what did you see there? And that's the thing. Major League Baseball umpires, same with NHL umpire referees and all other refs, they are not held accountable to anything. They screw up. Oh, well, they screwed up. So for me, I like Schneider going off. My favorite, though, was him giving the double deuces to the Viva Las Vegas. Did you see that as he's leaving? He points at the Vegas thing like this and then out the door. And I'm like, That is glorious. Like,
it was
he
solid.
had to be thinking about that while he was walking at the sign. He was like, this would be funny. I mean, it was good. I like to see the fire. I like to see that he wasn't taking, like you said, the game before the All-Star game as a joke, as a break, as a whatever. I thought they were weird games. They were even weird to watch. Like they didn't have any flow. There wasn't any. And to your point, Schneider hits a home run on the next pitch, crushes it out of the ball. Like
that was the nail in the coffin.
But
perfect.
It's one of those things where you're like, it didn't feel. It felt almost like preseason baseball. It was hokey. Yeah. It was hokey to watch. There's people standing in the outfield. Like it was just weird. I feel for the guys that play on the A's, though, because they've actually got a pretty good team right now, and they're in front of 6,000 people in Sacramento, and they could care less if they are. In fact, I don't know if you've heard,
gone in 2 years anyway.
In Game 2, the chant "Let's go Vladdy" was louder than anything that I heard the entire game, and it was like echoing. And then they're like, "I remember Blue Jays fans," and they panned through the crowd, and it's like, yeah, I guess
Blue Jays
if I was going to go to somewhere, Sacramento probably wouldn't be the worst place to go. It's easy to get to. It's it's a fairly affordable trip, and so I could see why Blue Jays fans would go as somewhere different to see them in a place they will never see them again. But yeah, weird series. I mean, the series before was so good. And they've been playing so well up to that. The big thing for me, Craig, and I think that I'd love to get some feedback from you on this, is their ability to come back has been gone for 2 years. And this year they seem very accountable to the comeback. You can see them talking to their pitchers when they've let them down, and they're like, we're going to go score some for you. And then they go do. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They just get in there and they smash the ball around, and they know that they're not done until the job is done. And they're not stopping. Like last year, I felt like a lot of times they would get a 1-run lead or a 2-run lead, and they let off the pedal. This year, it's pedal down until the fat lady sings, until the fireworks are going. Like, they're beating up on teams and continuing to, and not upset with it, like 2 or 3 base hits. I'm sure they're not liking leaving runs on base, but scoring runs and into the late part of the game, which is essential for August into September. I mean, you have to be able to score those runs. It's so important.
Yeah, and you're not wrong with that, because I saw in the last couple of weeks that the Blue Jays have like 22 come from behind wins this year or something like that. So it's been happening regularly and keeps it interesting, Jason. And I think that's exactly the tenacity that they've been missing over the last few years.
Yeah, and not to keep. I mean, I feel like we're going to keep doing this for the next month, but I mean, this is what they did in 2015. I mean, this is exactly how they were in 2015. They came back and won. What do they call them? The Cardiac Kids or something like that. There was never a game that was over. Like I remember one, they were down 11 or something going into the 8th inning and still come back and won. And you're like, you don't want them. You don't want to feel like they don't give a shit, but you do, because that's where you win the most baseball. When you are having fun and you don't particularly care, you will win way more baseball games than when you're all tight and you do care too much. And I feel like the last 2 years, they've been tight and cared too much because of the pressure that's been applied by the fans, by the media, by everybody, for them to be as good as paper says that they are. But other teams in the division outperform their paper. But, it's, like the whole division right now is solid. I mean, where are you going to go that's not? I mean, the Tampa, it's nice to see them cooling off a little bit. Red Sox have won 9 in a row, in case anybody's not paying attention. They're ear to the rail. The Yankees have tumbled off a little bit, but I mean, they're the Yankees. They'll definitely be back, in a couple of weeks smashing. And
we talked that out with Anthony last week, me and him, very extensively, in the fact that the Blue Jays and the Yankees are also not only going to be attacking each other for the lead of the division, they're also going to be attacking each other for all these guys that they're trying to trade for.
Yeah,
it's going to be
both, and we have to address that. We have to address the fact that the Jays last month has changed the trajectory of trade options for the Jays by, I mean, it's cataclysmic, the change. Like a month and a half ago, no one wanted to come here. Now, if they're interested in me, and I'm a pretty good player, I'm like, yeah, I want to go there. They have a good chance of actually winning the World Series this year. Do I want to go somewhere where I'm going to get buried, or I don't want to go somewhere where they tend to play people? Like, I mean, John Schneider's one of his pluses is that he has played guys. He hasn't sat them. He hasn't made them, sit there and watch game after game after game. Schneider gets in. Back then Clement got in, they played guys, and it's paying off now in spades with these guys being really good players, not ending up being bench players. And I'm hoping that next year it's the same for Loperfido, and I hope that Nathan Lukes gets his run next year. I mean, I'm worried that he might be one of their trade pieces, to be honest with you. I really do feel like he might get traded. He's a good baseball player, and people know it. And there's a couple of teams who have need in the outfield, and he does play the infield as well. So, I mean, let's talk about that. Who do you think are the trade chips right now?
Our trade chips, or who are we going after?
Like, who do you think's the most likely from the Jays to get traded?
I think they're going to end up hedging their future a little bit, but it's going to be the right kind of future. I unfortunately don't think that, as much as I've loved his tools and what he can do, I think Jonathan Clase is going to be gone in the midst of this whole thing. There's too much depth in the outfield, and then you got Santander coming back. The guys they've been linked to are also outfielders. You got Barger that can play in the outfield. There's just all these things that have just coalesced in the Blue Jays, outfield quarters. I think they're going to have to trade some of that whole thing. I hope the one that they don't let go of, though, is Joey Loperfido, because sometime in the next couple of years, you're not going to have George Springer even to dial in every once in a while, right? You're going to have somebody ready to take that heir to the throne for the outfield, with Varsho, Springer will eventually leave, and I don't want to bury the covers too much, but if he's the difference between getting a Zach Gallen or somebody back at this trade deadline, done.
And I think it's interesting.
But I think the outfield's the spot.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I feel like there's going to certainly, let's not kid ourselves. There's going to be interest in Clement. There's going to be interest in Barger for sure. And I
Can't
mean, as
do it
much
though.
as, what if the exchange is so like, I mean, we've seen in the last little while that some teams are really willing to mortgage for the now. And
Yeah.
a team like, I mean, obviously they're not going to trade with New York, but a team like San Francisco, who is, just a shade behind the Dodgers and a little bit ahead of the other
might
teams.
overpay.
They might overpay. And I mean, they have a very good system. They have some of the best pitching. It's certainly guys that are being underused because they can't use them and just don't have the spots. They also have, some very talented infielders and really interesting, players. Like one of my sons, Carter, used to be a Giants fan. He still is, I think, but we used to wear black and orange, and I think that's what sort of drove them to it. But I've kind of always stayed on their track, like watching what they're doing, and I mean, they're preparing to go head to head with the Dodgers, and so I've already heard some rumblings about San Francisco poking around with the Jays, and who do the Jays play next? Just so happens they play the San Francisco Giants. So the Jays aren't dumb enough to trade within their own division. They're probably not dumb enough to trade within the American League even. So that starts to really limit where you're looking at. So the rumors, the sort of the teams that you hear are like Milwaukee, Cincinnati, San Francisco, teams like that. I mean, the Diamondbacks and others, they're always going to be interested because you never know what they're going to do. They could go on a 20-game winning streak, or they could lose out the rest of the season. I mean, Colorado has nothing to offer. Atlanta is badly underperforming. So, I mean, Atlanta might be right for the picking for something like that. But, I mean, Philly's not giving you anything good. The Dodgers aren't giving up anything good.
Yeah.
Those teams.
And that's why I think Clement and those guys are not touchable, because the team. My worry is like, let's say you did trade Ernie Clement. Ernie Clement is key to the core of this dugout right now, and I think that would be a clubhouse problem, regardless of who you got back. If you're looking to trade an infielder, you're trying to hope that somebody's dumb enough to take Andres Jimenez off our hands.
Although he's been good lately too.
He has, but he keeps getting hurt.
Yeah.
So I really think that Barger and Clement have emerged as cornerstones for this current team, at least. And I do think that there's something obviously there for going forward too. But I just think that there's a culture shock if you end up trading those guys. I think the guys that they're going to be trading are in a plethora of the B players, like we were talking about, the Clases, the Loperfitos, the guys that are going to run out of a job if Varsho stays healthy. Santander comes back. There is pitching prospects. There is past Trey Yusevich. Cal Steven could be actually a really big trade chip for the Blue Jays, who has been phenomenal, just like Trey Yusevich has been this year. We've seen it in the last few years that these high-end first-round draft picks, maybe somebody takes JoJo already away from us, our first-round pick from this last year. It's happened. It's not out of the equation. And if you're talking about win now, I would be more in the ballpark of doing that than in getting the right thing back and winning, because you got Arjun Namala that I would think is probably untouchable, but nobody is off the table if you get the perfect thing. Same thing, I would say Savage is probably off the table, but you get the right offer and it helps this team win. And would you trade one of those two guys as the cornerstone for Joe Ryan for 3 years control, Jason, from the Twinkies? Because Joe Ryan is apparently being shot by the Twins.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he is pretty good. He's an all-star, just a little detail.
I think the interesting thing is there's so many guys who don't perform the same once removed from the situation that they're in, whether they feel unbelievably comfortable with their infield or their outfield or their catcher, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm always surprised that teams that are going for a big arm don't try and get the catcher as well. Like, I mean, it doesn't seem to make any sense to me. Like, I mean, when you look at catcher pitcher tandems that have dominated, it's the catchers don't change. Like, if a pitcher is dominant, Paul Skeens has a catcher, and to take him out and try and get him going with someone else. You can even see it when the All-Star games are on. There's a lot of missed pitches. There's like a lot of pitches that hit catchers' heels and that they just don't get. And that's part of it. I mean, the other thing too is they don't know how these guys' balls are going to travel. You can watch as much video as you want. You're never going to truly know what his cutter or splitter or whatever looks like until it's coming at you. And so I feel like, pitching is such an interesting duck when you make big trades like that, because I don't know that you ever get the guy. I can't think of too many times where, like, David Price was one where he came and was immediately just sort of the same guy, but he was sort of this anyways, right? Like, I mean, he was very, like, nothing really bugged him. So
some of that comes with the amount of fire in the locker room, though, and we have that. So
we do now, yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's the piece to that whole thing, that somebody's going to come chomping at the bit and want to know how they can immediately contribute to that whole idea. So I think that's where the win is on that one, Jason. But I have to make a joke here because I just saw this, and it's from our friend of the show because of where you just went for the pitching stuff and everything like that. Miskowski pitched in the All-Star game for the Brewers yesterday. He's a flamethrower. He throws like a ball 100 miles an hour. But Jeff Fry is talking because the highlight was him throwing a 98-mile-an-hour slider. And all his saying was, that is a cutter.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
They're all cutters. If
They're
you
all
call
cutters.
it a slider, you're wrong. It's a cutter. It's a cut fastball. We go through it right now. We've got some kids on our team. One of them whose nickname is Cutter. So he claims his pitch is a cutter. It's not. Josh, I love you to death, but it's not a cutter, buddy. It is a slider. So it's, it's one of those things where it's funny. I find it so interesting, like the velocity that we're starting to see, like that guy from the Angels. He was 106, was he not? Like, am I wrong?
Yeah.
That he threw
Mason.
2 at 105 and 106 and 1 at 106, and he averages 103. Like,
imagine stealing
what?
him.
Yeah, I know. But it's one of those things.
They'll make us freaking take Severino in that trade and all that money that he's owed for being angry at the locker rooms in Sacramento when he signed a 3-year deal and he's going to be there for 2 of them.
Yeah.
Do
True.
some homework, bud.
I gotta get rolling, but I would like to mention, the
Quick one
the
tonight.
rest of the month here, going up to the beginning of August, is a bit of dog's breakfast. I mean, you've got Yankees, you've got Tigers, you've got Royals, you've got all kinds of good, hungry teams coming up here. If you were to hypothetically, what are we at? The 16th here. So what, tomorrow's the next game? Yeah. So, I mean,
Friday.
So what would you think? Would you be happy with 500, or do you think they have to be over that to maintain the fact that they are the number one team in the American League right now? Like, we have to appreciate that. So do you think, a winning record by 2 games would be, that would be massively successful, but do you think that's the expectation?
I think it's keep winning series. That's what they've been doing. That's what they've been doing well. And I tie or win in a series, because they got some 4-gamers coming up too. The biggest thing that they need to do, and I'm just worried about where this will go if they don't, the series of the Yankees comes right after the Giants, as you mentioned. They need to win that series.
Yes,
I'm worried that this is going to come down to a tiebreaker, Jason. And if they don't hold that tiebreaker, then we get to deal with more bullshit.
Yeah, I do think it's super interesting to see. Have you looked at the pitching matchups for the San Fran games?
I just saw that Bassett's pitching Friday night.
Yeah, against Verlander, which is awesome. Like,
no shit.
It doesn't
That's
get
fun.
much better than that. And then Eric
if it was
Lauer
Max
is
versus Verlander.
who's going up against tight pants, Robbie Ray.
Yep.
And then Barrios versus Webb. That's 3 really good games. And then, really fortunate for us, is the Yankees are going to try to throw out Stroman against Gausman. And Stroman's,
that's all they got right
Stroman's
now.
bad. Yeah, he's bad, man. He's not good. And if you can get to him early, in that series, it's anybody's games always, but if you can get to him early, and then of course, it's I don't even recognize except for Max Fried, and he hasn't been great either. So who knows?
No, their rotation's decimated. That's why they're going to be shopping heavily. But I don't know how they're going to get there what they want. You talk about a farm team that's decimated. They're about as bad as us. So But to that point, Jason, I think you're 100% right. And then we get to have a fun one next week anyways, regardless that baseball is back on Friday. Travis Snyder's with us next week.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Hero.
We're shorting the fans this week on a shortened All-Star break week. But next week, T. Snides is back. I'm excited. I've been, make sure you tell your friends, people out there in internet land.
Yeah, well, I wrote that article that was about him and his stuff on the all new website for us for jaybirdwatching.com. And
leave us a message on the site.
Yeah, and check us out. And that's a big one. I want to get the video, or not in the video, but the audio from all of you. If you have a good question, you'd rather not us do it in the chat, I will play the audio so we can all have a talk here. So go over to the website, click that button, and it'll record, and you just do your due, and we'll have it on the show. But yeah, Travis Snyder, I messaged him. I said, hey, I wrote an article about all the good shit you're doing and awesome with all the mental health and kids and youth athletes and everything. And he goes, oh my God, it's been so long, and he hasn't been on since he was goofing around with us in the preseason and talking about hitting the home run with a mustache, which might still be a major league record. We never found that one. So I think it has to be a major league record. So when I texted him, he was all in, and here we are already having him on the show next week. So that's too fun.
Awesome.
So is there any parting words, sir, before you run off?
Were we doing our picks to click? Did we do them last week, or did we hold off?
I just kind of held off on him because it wasn't us last. Well, no, I did him last week. I take that back. So short week. We had. I'm just going to let you pick one from these names. It was Bo, Ernie, Springer, and Schneider, and not in any particular order there. And I feel like
Ernie, who was the best out of the bunch from?
Give it to Ernie, I think, but I'm going to see if I can pull up the stats. Yeah. Do you want me to go to the book, or you want me to just do it?
No, just screw it. Give it to Ernie.
Okay. Well, that gives it to you. So you just picked up your fourth win. Surprise!
I love it. People aren't going to think it's rigged at all.
So, yep. Jason, you put your fourth win on the board.
Thanks, Ernie.
Liz is 2 ahead of you with 6. I'm way behind with the guest spot, both tied at 2 for last place. So on that note, Mr. Victory, who you got?
I am going to take. I'm going to stick old. I'm going to go Springer again. I feel like he's going to come out of this revitalized. They're going to keep him in the DH spot. I think they might even play him in the outfield.
Yeah,
and I think you should pick. I think you should pick next, and you should take Vladdy.
I don't know, man.
Guaranteed win week.
I'm torn. It's guaranteed win week, but Kirky's been hot.
Yeah, he has. And Bo. I mean, Bo's the hottest hitter in the American League right now.
Yeah, I'm taking Vlad because I have not taken Vlad since week 5. I feel like I've been really nice. Screwed.
We can be really nice and give Liz, Bo, and the guest spot Kirky.
I feel like we might have to give the guest spot get somebody like that because we've just been watching a decimated.
Let's do that.
Fun with the, so I'm going to give Bo.
The guest. Yeah,
go Bo for the guest.
Yeah.
Kirky for Liz.
There you go.
All right, buddy. Any parting
All right,
fun?
man. Hey, I've got we got our last home game tonight, Eldon Park. We are in a heated battle for potentially second place, which would be massive for us because it would put us on the different side of the pool. So we're going with our big guns tonight. We got Josh and KO going tonight, so it'll be a fun one.
Nice. So on that note, I wish you the best of luck to the kiddos and everything, obviously. And we almost drafted our own twins for Major League Baseball too with JoJo, yes. And that would have been fun. Yeah. And did you see we drafted Sean Casey's kid?
I did actually, yeah.
Like 15th round.
So just those people out there, if you did happen to see it, there was a guy, a young man from North Van. His name is escaping me right now. He was drafted by the Dodgers out of high school. He is in grade 11, I believe. He might be in grade 12. His last name starts with an L. It's going to make me mad when I don't remember it.
Our buddy Bob File will be happy to hear that from his travels. And same thing with Simon.
We're going to watch this kid on Thursday night, and he throws 95 plus, and we're going to get to watch it. We're going to get to watch it from 5 feet away. It's going to be incredible. So he's a Michigan commit, and the Dodgers took him way late, like one of the latest picks you can take. But good for him.
Yeah. I was glad to see they actually went to 20 rounds this year. So it's been capped off at 15 the last few. I feel like the minor leagues have been struggling to keep players in because of that kind of a thing. So
Yeah,
is what it is. So, but yeah, that's it, Jason. Quick week this week because of the All-Star break and everybody being so busy. But we will be back next week with Lunchbox Hero Travis Snyder to talk all things what a playoff race looks like, because he's been on some teams that were very close a few times, and we're going to talk about what it feels like to be obviously, you know, in the mental parts of a pennant race along with being around the trade deadline. So here we are. Go Blue Jays, and we hope you all have a great week. Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Jay Bird Watching Podcast. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at BirdwatchingGC, and our YouTube channel. If you want to support the show and get extra content, please consider donating to our Patreon at patreon.com/birdwatchinggc. Go Jays, go.
Woo!